Mark here from Motoring Motivations, working and trying to give an update on Christie's R58 2012 Mini Cooper JCW. So we basically replaced the timing chain and did a walnut blast, and while we're going through it, fixing the oil leaks, the crankshaft seal, the front oil cooler. It's just indicative of higher mileage cars, older, lack of maintenance, lack of oil changes and such. But we're going through it, getting it, refreshing it, and replacing some of the common wear pieces of that. But here's the motor so far. We got the valve cover back on, we replaced the timing chain, replaced several pieces. So here's some of the parts that we've taken out and are replacing. So on the front or the side of the engine, the belt adjustment and idler pulley here, these two were replaced. This one had some wear. This one was a good measure because these tend to have a little bit of play in them, so we went ahead and replaced it. The water pump is a common thing that tends to go out or have problems, so we replaced that. And as you can see, if you look, you can see it's really cracked. Is the pulley that's supposed to be smooth, and it's like dry rotted, along with the belt with all its, as you can see, cracks in it. So you don't want it to like disintegrate while we're driving it. So we went ahead and replaced it. These are normal wear items, especially for an N14, which is sort of a higher maintenance motor. We have the valve cover gaskets, and the dipstick we replaced with the Craven Speed. Easier to read, flexible, it's a lot easier. Here's the timing chain. Now, first we heard sort of a death rattle type of thing, and you start cold start, and you take the valve cover off, and this is what we found. We found this bolted on. This was stuck inside, bouncing around between the guides when it should have been here, and it was ripped right off, it looks like. We found the chain was stretched. There's some chips in the guides, cracks, and basically we bought a kit that replaced most everything in there, including this piece here. These bolts are supposed to be one-time bolts along with the crank bolt because they stretch. The belt was a little longer, about a 1/4 inch longer than the other piece, the new one. The crankshaft pulley, which is this piece here, not pulley, seal. That seal was leaking. You can spot it by seeing all the oil around there. And this piece here, starting to unplug it, the whole thing came out. So we're replacing this. I believe this is the valve idler adjustment. So that's something we're replacing. Also replacing spark plugs, ignition coils, gaskets for the throttle body, which is right there. Replacing the throttle body itself. It's caked in oil and everything from being sucked in. And those are things that tend to go out after time, so we're going ahead and replacing these with the other parts. So most of the parts we're trying to replace with are OEM. They just don't have Mini on them, but they're the manufacturer that makes them for Mini. That way it's a quality piece. So we have a couple things we're upgrading. So this is the turbo outtake hose that goes from the turbo intercooler up to the manifold. This is the pipe that comes out, goes in. It goes through that hose, and then that noise generator thing. Kind of a silly thing, but we're replacing it with this piece here. This is an aluminum pipe made by a turbo company, I forget which one. These are silicone pipes where it doesn't have any exits for the noise delete, so you get more of it going actually into the throttle body and into the intake. Those are the intakes there, throttle body, this piece up here. That's the used one. We have a brand new one. It's a Continental. It's the same as the factory OEM parts. And then we have the turbo intake to the thing. So we're basically taking away the silencer, this factory piece, using the one silicone piece so you don't have any interruptions and it flows, and to the intercooler. So here's the stock intercooler, and this is Helix. It's one of the performance intercoolers. You can see it's a lot taller. It's got the same, actually a little wider than the stock piece, and then it's got a vertical piece that sits up higher to give it a lot more, this part gives it a lot more area surface to cool it down. And it's made all of aluminum opposed to plastic capped aluminum stuff. But that's about where we're at with that. So these are things that are going on, and is an update, and where we're at. So we're trying to get the motor all squared away, get it all put back together. I'm going to do a different style of an intake, air intake, that I found. It's sort of a abbreviated version of Defenders of Speed. They had a K&N, like a Bell air filter that fits here, or air housing, and it eliminates, and then this one goes right into where this will have its I call it the false cowl firewall, where it separates this. So the air intake comes in here, sucks it straight in. So less turns, the air doesn't have to go from here, curve all the way through, go through the filter, come up, come all the way back around to go into the turbo. The less directions I found, the less movement you have of twisting and turns, the more efficient it is. So that's what we're planning to do. We're going to use a K&N filter that's going to go straight in. I think it's called a K&N Apollo, and we're going to cut a hole into the piece here, put a piece of rubber like hose, split it, put it around, stick it in there, so that the fresh air comes out here, goes straight in, comes straight back here, and goes straight into the turbo. Plus it'll give you, so you have a lot of more room for cooling and air to move around in, so it doesn't, like, heat cook the engine as much. But that's where we're at, and thank you. We'll give you an update as we go. Bye.